Dangerous dog turns on owner. Terminally ill woman mauled to death by her own dog in Whyalla after ignoring repeated warnings to put it down. A 39-year-old woman in Whyalla, South Australia, had been mauled to death by her pitbull mastiff cross, the same dog that had previously attacked her just weeks earlier. The victim, Christine Kulis, tragically lost her life on Thursday afternoon after the animal turned on her inside her home on Murphy Crescent in Whyalla Stewart, about 400 kilometers northwest of Adelaide. And now we dive into the heart of this story right here on the AI podcast.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a really tough set of sources. They all center on one single tragic event. The death of 39-year-old Christine Kulis, who was fatally mauled by her own dog in Whyalla, South Australia. And our mission today is, well, it's heavy, but it's important. We're going to use these reports and testimonies to build a picture of a tragedy that honestly wasn't sudden at all. The sources describe something more like a slow-motion disaster.
Exactly. A risk that just kept escalating over years.
Right, where family, friends, neighbors, they all repeatedly raised the alarm. And those warnings were just continuously dismissed until it was too late.
It is genuinely chilling when you read the sources one after another, because the warning signs weren't subtle. Not at all. They were overwhelming and incredibly specific. So I think for you, listening, the core question we have to grapple with here is, it's a tough one. What happens when all the evidence of extreme danger is right there, but the warnings are ignored? What's the consequence when every attempt to intervene just fails? The theme is just warnings ignored.
Okay, so let's start with the immediate facts of that day. Christine was mauled by her dog. We know it was a pit bull mastiff cross at her home.
On Murphy Crescent in Whyalla, Stewart, yeah.
Police and paramedics, they rushed to the scene around 4 p.m., but it was too late. The outcome was fatal. But the sources make it clear. You can't understand what happened without understanding how vulnerable she was.
That vulnerability is absolutely key. The sources show Christine Kulis was already in a really desperate fight for her life.
With other health issues, you mean?
Yeah, she was battling severe long-term alcoholism. She'd been diagnosed with cirrhosis, and her doctors, they gave her a stark prognosis. If she didn't quit drinking immediately, her time was severely limited.
So her physical health already put her in a uniquely defenseless position against, a powerful animal.
Absolutely. And the documents really show just how compromised she was. Her partner of 10 years, Arlen Potter, he often had to push her around in a shopping trolley.
A shopping trolley?
Yeah, because she'd reached a point where she couldn't walk anymore. She was frail. She was terminally ill. She was just in a severely weakened state.
Which makes what happened next even harder to understand.
And this is the most critical piece of evidence. The thing that shows this was all so predictable, this fatal mauling. It wasn't the dog's first serious attack on her.
Wait, on Christine herself?
On Christine, yes. Just weeks before her death, the exact same dog had attacked her. It bit right through tendons in her body.
Biting through tendons.
Ow!
That is incredibly severe.
It was. It was so bad she had to be airlifted to Adelaide for specialized emergency treatment. So you can see the level of violence this dog had already inflicted. It was like a dress rehearsal for the final attack. The clearest possible warning you could ever get.
So what was her state of mind after that? Psychologically, emotionally?
Sure.
An injury that severe, you'd think that would be the turning point.
You would think. Her close friend, Alison Erskine, she talked about the impact. When Christine came back from Adelaide, she was described as traumatized, frail, and withdrawn.
So not just physically damaged, but mentally shattered.
Completely. She was traumatized by the very animal she was still choosing to live with.
That makes the families please.
Yeah.
It just makes them heartbreaking. Let's get into their response. Because after she's back home with those tendon injuries, the warnings must have become, desperate.
They did. Her mother, Meredith Howe, she was very explicit. She begged her daughter repeatedly to have the dog put down. She argued that after an injury that severe, there was just no rational reason to keep it.
The quote from her mother in the source material is just.
Yeah.
It's so direct. She says, I told her she should have had that dog put down, but Christine didn't want to.
And that one sentence just cuts right to the heart of it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
This conflict between rational safety and some kind of deep-seated denial or attachment.
Right. And whatever that psychological barrier was, it was strong enough to override the clear and present threat to her own life, even after needing an emergency airlift.
And it wasn't just her mother. You mentioned her friend, Alison Erskine. She confronted them too.
Oh, she went right to them. To both Christine and her partner, Arlen. She told them point blank the dog was mental, it's mad, and that they had to put it down, and still they refused.
So we have a total breakdown of any kind of rational risk assessment here.
Completely. And this wasn't some secret danger. Another friend warned her, pointing to her bad health. She had to think about herself instead of the dog. Everyone could see it.
It's clear the risk was obvious inside the home. But what about outside? Did this danger stay behind closed doors?
Not even close. The sources confirm this pit bull mastiff cross was a known active threat to the entire neighborhood. This dog had a documented history of aggression going back years.
Which resulted in official complaints, right?
Right.
Neighbors were reporting the dog to the Whyalla City Council.
Numerous times over the years. And this is where you have to start looking at a kind of bureaucratic failure. If you have documented complaints over a period of years and the end result is still a fatal attack,
Yep.
what's the threshold for intervention?
It suggests the system was just managing the problem on paper.
Instead of eliminating the actual danger, the volume of complaints should have flagged this situation as something extreme.
And the details from residents? They are just utterly chilling. They confirm how serious this was.
They do. The dog allegedly had killed several pets in the neighborhood. One resident remembered seeing it foaming at the mouth near children.
Foaming at the mouth.
Yeah. And that it was covered in scars, which suggests a long history of fighting and aggression. It should have been a massive red flag for public safety.
And this all led to this collective feeling in the neighborhood, right? I read that the attack on Christine was seen as inevitable.
That exact word, inevitable. It tells you everything. It means the danger had moved past being a possibility into a certainty. The neighbors weren't surprised, just heartbroken.
They were just waiting for it to happen.
It seems so. And they changed their behavior because of it. Friends admitted they would actively avoid walking past Christine's house because they were afraid of being attacked themselves. The whole property became a known hazard.
That's a huge escalation. To go from a nuisance to a place people are terrified to even walk past. Now, what about physical evidence? Because there are reports of actual confrontations.
Right, and this is where it moves beyond hearsay. The Daily Mail got its hands on CCTV footage that gives us hard visual evidence.
What does it show?
In one clip, you can see the brown and white dog just repeatedly throwing itself violently against a neighbor's fence while it's being held back. It confirms this extreme, uncontrolled aggression everyone was talking about.
But the footage didn't just capture the dog, did it? It captured the humans, too. There was an incident after the dog allegedly attacked a neighbor's cat.
Yes. The CCTV captured a physical confrontation between Christine, Mr. Potter, and the neighbor. And this is where the dog's danger and the owner's behavior become completely intertwined.
How so?
Because during that fight, both Christine and her partner were heard shouting, "I'll kill you."
I'll kill you.
Yes. So you have this sequence, the dog's aggression, which leads to this volatile fight, which ends with violent threats from the owners. It paints a picture of a household where danger wasn't just accepted, it was aggressively defended.
They were willing to fight the community over it.
Rather than deal with the root cause in their own home. Exactly.
Let's move to the immediate aftermath. Christine's friend, Allison Erskine, she arrived at the scene.
She did. She described finding Arlen Potter covered in blood, talking to police. She didn't realize how bad it was. She shouted that she'd see Christine at the hospital. She only found out later that she had died right there at the scene.
Just awful. And the dog.
The dog was finally contained. It was euthanized the very next day by the Whyalla City Council.
So what's the official response now?
Well, it's all about process. South Australia police are preparing a report for the coroner, and both the police and the council are declining any more comment about possible charges because there's an ongoing investigation.
So after this whole deep dive, this painful look into all these sources, what does it all tell us? It's clear this wasn't a bolt from the blue, not a random accident. It was the foreseeable end to years of escalating danger.
A previous severe attack, desperate warnings from family, constant complaints from neighbors.
And all of it happening while the victim herself was in a state of profound health decline, physically unable to defend herself.
And that's why the community sentiment is the final heartbreaking piece of the puzzle. There was sorrow, yes, but zero surprise. They saw it as inevitable.
It's just a stark, tragic example of a life lost when so many critical warnings went unheard.
For far too long.
Which really brings us back to that core provocative thought for you to take away from this. When a community, a family, everyone is raising loud alarms about a danger that's documented and has already caused near fatal harm, Where does the ultimate failure of intervention lie?
It's a really tough question.
What systems are missing? Animal control? Social support? What is broken when violence is this well documented and the outcome is still death?
It raises some profound questions about our collective responsibility to step in when a risk is so clearly escalating out of control.
It certainly does. Thank you for taking this deep dive into the source material with us today.
Okay, this is a very sad story. One question for you. Could this tragedy have been prevented if authorities acted sooner on repeated complaints about the dog? Don't forget to comment it. Thanks.